Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Sunday. I wanted to pop on here before I run into the gym really quick, but I wanted to come on here and talk about something that I've kind of been thinking about for a minute. I've kind of been thinking about this and it's just been marinating in my head for the last couple of weeks with different conversations that I've had with friends and different things that I've just been experiencing and thinking about. And today I was hanging out with one of my friends who is atheist, and he knows I'm very spiritual, and we were just talking about that. And it's very interesting to be able to be friends with people who have different beliefs and morals, and even like that could go into political views. Like, it's very interesting that once we realize we can be friends with anybody, no matter what their beliefs, no matter what their opinions might be, I feel like it just opens up our minds so much more. And this hasn't always been the case for me, and this is why I'm talking about it, because I grew up in some aspects thinking that if you didn't believe a certain way, that it was like the wrong way to live. And obviously now I have learned that doesn't work for me. Like, that belief is no longer serving me. And I think it was serving me for the time that it needed to serve me, right? But after some time, after growing up and getting introduced to more people and just learning different beliefs and different morals and meeting new people and experiencing different life situations, it makes more sense to me now that there is no right or wrong way, right? We talk about that there's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. It is just what it is, and it is as you label it. And that goes for beliefs. That goes for opinions, right? Because a belief is just that. It is just a thought that you have told yourself again and again and again, and now you believe it. But the beliefs that I have are different than the beliefs you have, and the beliefs that you have are different from the beliefs that I have, more than likely. Obviously, we may have some of the same beliefs. We may have some of the same values, the same morals, but I think it's very interesting to remember. And I was hiking today, and obviously, yes, I am very spiritual, and my friend that I was hiking with was is very atheist. And we were just discussing this, and he was telling me his reasons why he's atheist, why he doesn't believe in a religion, why he doesn't have faith in spirituality. He pretty much just doesn't have a faith. Like, he is just a very atheist person, which is fine, like, no judgment here. But it's very interesting because back in the day, when I was younger, if somebody would have talked to me and told me that they had different beliefs than me, I would have tried to tell them why they were wrong or why I was right. And now I just kind of take the back seat in those conversations, and I listen to their reasoning. I listen to how they came to have those different beliefs and opinions within themselves, because all the beliefs we have are from some sort of experience that we had from like the external outer world, right? And just listening to somebody talk about their experiences is so interesting to hear to me. And everybody is so unique, and then here we are, like, coming together, like creating a friendship. Like, it's just like a relationship. There's two people coming into this friendship, relationship, partnership, whatever it is, and you're creating a dynamic of two, right? And it's very rare to find somebody that has the same exact belief system as you, the same morals, the same political views. That is very hard. And when we're trying to make friends and find a partner, it's going to hold you back from thinking that you need to have the same beliefs as somebody else. And for me to say this is big, because for a lot of my life, I have been looking for a partner, and I have been like seeking out friendships that align with all of my beliefs, all of my values, all of my political views. But it's so funny because opening myself up, like, I am now dating somebody who doesn't have all of the same political views. Like, a lot of the things like are very similar, but there are some that are a little bit different. And for the longest time, I wouldn't have dated somebody who had different political views. which might sound really funny. Like, I understand that now. But you might be somebody who's listening to this and you're like, oh, I agree. Like, I could never date somebody who is like X or Z or Y. Yeah, and just for the longest time, I wouldn't be able to date somebody that had different opinions than me or different beliefs than me, because I would take everything so personal whenever they would tell me that they believed something differently. And I think it's so funny now, like observing the difference between Kylie back then and Kylie back now, and getting to really notice the difference in me with how I'm able to just sit there and kind of do like a bird's eye view and observe the situation, observe how I'm feeling, and just observe that person's view, right? Because anybody who is like a good friend of yours or like a partner, in no way are they probably ever telling you or trying to talk you into their belief system. Like, it's probably just a conversation that you guys are having, right? And I used to take everything so personal when somebody would tell me like, oh, I actually believe this. I actually think this. I don't think that. I would be like, what? Like, how do they not think the same as me? Like, that's crazy that somebody can think differently because I am right. And it took me a lot of time, and it took me a lot of experiences, and it took me a lot of dealing with other people to realize that it's actually quite a beautiful thing to have different beliefs than other people, because we are here in this world, in this human experience, and the whole point of a human experience is to really see different sides of life, different perspectives. And if you only ever have your one way of thinking, you're not opening yourself up to other things. You're leaving a lot of doors closed. And that's a lot of lessons that you're never going to learn. That's a lot of different perspectives you'll never be able to see. And I have found that as we're getting closer to the election coming up, obviously, this is probably like a controversial topic to talk about, but as the election's coming up, it's kind of like, in my opinion, this is my belief, it's very hard to pick a side. Like, it's very, very hard for me to pick a side, because it's like two parties, and instead of coming together, a lot of people are getting into this election, and I just see a lot of people growing further and further away because of their views and because of their beliefs, and it's very hard to watch. I don't think that anything in the world should come to something that draws people apart. So it's been hard for me to watch. It's been hard for me to have conversations with people who are very strong on one side. And again, obviously, I always respect people's beliefs. I always respect people's opinions, but it's difficult for me to see when somebody's belief or when somebody's opinion equals or turns into being mean to other people. Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing in the world, the biggest thing that I think we are all here to do, like, I think the human purpose is love. Obviously, everybody has other purposes. They have life purposes. They have passions that they're getting into. But I think if we don't have love for each other and for ourselves, then there's not really a point. Like, I don't think we were put here to not show each other love. Like, I think love is just really like the answer to everything. Like, if there's not love, like, what is there? So kind of coming back to the conversation I was having with my friend earlier when we were hiking, and we were just talking about how, like, while we had these completely different beliefs and like these different views, and we were even talking about like why I was an atheist and like why he wasn't spiritual or why he wasn't religious. And we can have these conversations and we can meet in a middle ground. And there's never a point where we don't disrespect one another. And there is never a point where I would say something or he would say something and the other person would be hurt or offended, because we knew where we were coming from and we knew we were going into it with love. And I think a lot of the conversations, and I'm just using like the election as an example, because obviously like there's two completely different sides that are completely different sides on like the spectrum with the political election coming up. And even though like me and him are like on very completely different sides, like my faith in like spirituality and like the universe and source and my spirit guides, angels, like it is so high. I have a very deep belief in my faith and the universe and it having my back and just trusting that everything is happening as it should and like as it's meant to. Being able to have the conversation with him was just really amazing, because I haven't always been able to have conversations like that with people. And I think for a lot of us, it takes time to understand and to recognize that it's okay to have people in our life that don't have the same beliefs as us, but also realizing while it might be great to have people in your life who do have the same beliefs, because yes, like so many conversations can come up and like so many different ideas can like spark and you can bounce ideas off of each other. Yes, that's great. But it wouldn't be fun. Like it would be kind of boring to only have friends that had the same beliefs, that only had the same political views or the same morals, the same values. So this is just a reminder for you and for me that it is fun. It is super fun to have friends and people in our life who have completely different beliefs than us. And as long as nobody is putting something in your face and they're not assuming that you are something, then I think it's a great place to really learn something about humanity, about the other person, about yourself, and just reminding yourself to have that bird's eye view of an observation and to never take anything personal, because just because, did you like that? Just because somebody else has a different belief, it doesn't mean your belief is wrong. There's no right, there's no wrong. A belief is just a belief. Yeah, and just reminding yourself that. So I just want to come on here and talk about that, especially since so much has been going on with the election. And it's so funny because seeing it come up, and 4 years ago when we had the other election, my whole entire belief system was a lot different than it is now. And it's just very interesting to recognize that and see how much I have changed. The old Kylie 4 years ago definitely wouldn't recognize the Kylie that is here now, sitting in this van. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to come on and remind you that everything that you believe is exactly as you're supposed to believe it. And however anybody else views life and views their own opinions, or has their own opinions, that's exactly how they're supposed to have their own opinions. And that's how we learn from each other. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. Oh yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. Happy Sunday. And I'll talk to you guys next time.